Right, I'm sorry, Brian Shaw, please don't eat me, but that punch was so pathetic.
This territory is ruled by one strong and determined leader, an alpha male known as Pereira. His rule gets him the best of everything, but he can trust no one. He's surrounded by rivals, prepared to kill him for his crown. This is a story of power, politics, and the fight for survival.
You see that? Brian Shaw is an absolute tank of a human being. He just picked up Eddie Hall like as if he was a little girl, like as if he was a little toddler. Remember when Brian Martin asked Brian Shaw if he could beat him in a street fight? If you haven't seen that video, you can go and watch it here, or I'll leave it at the end of this video on the end screen. And it took us back to this video here. Bradley Martin is not a small human. 260, bro. Look at Brian Shaw absolutely towering over him, looking like Bradley Martin's dad. They had a little bit of a wrestle. This is how that went down. So as you can see by the title of this video, today we're looking at Brian Shaw and Eddie Hall trying to beat the world record punching power on the Power Cube in the UFC Performance Institute. Now, for anyone who watched yesterday's video, I did say I was going to do a UFC 301 breakdown. And guys, I'm real, okay? I'm real, me. I actually can't be asked. Not just that, my head is absolutely banging, and the last thing I want to be doing is sitting there breaking down fights. There you go. I'm on the codeine. One of these days, I will be sound and have nothing to complain about. Anyway, I thought we'd just have a little bit of fun with this video because a lot of you guys know I was one of the only YouTube channels covering the fight event that was meant to go down between all the strongmen in a tournament event in Saudi Arabia, and then it all fell through. And there definitely comes a point where size does matter, and Eddie Hall and Brian Shaw are kind of at the front lines for leading this debate. So let's dive into this video and watch some punching power by these two behemoths. Also guys, I am happy to announce I've got my training app releasing this July. I can't wait. You want to get jacked, you want to get strong. I've lost a little bit of muscle, but here's a video of me with some muscle, whether it's wanting to just look good on the beach, looking good for some girls in Ibiza or Vegas, you want to look athletic, you want to look sexy, you want to feel like the alpha, a masculine don, or maybe you want to pack on a little bit more lean body mass so you're more explosive and got more physicality for your combat sport. This app is going to be perfect for you. Check the first link in the description to join the newsletter to find out more and to stay updated for when we release. Anyway, back to the video.
I am super excited. The world record as of now was Alexander Pereira. I hope I pronounced that right. UFC.
Alexander Pereira, big shout out to Alexander Pereira. Oh my days. What? For those of you that don't know what he's on about Alex Pereira, not Alexander Pereira. It sounds like a champagne. Oh, Eddie, listen, I'm not hating, because you guys know I butcher names badly, and I butcher names of people who I actually know, and I know how to pronounce the name and I still butcher it. Remember when Brian Martin asked Brian Shaw if he could beat him in a street fight? Big up to Eddie Hall, big up to Alexander Pereira. This is the punch he was referring to.
Oh my gosh!
I think Francis Ngannou's record was 130,000, so Alexander Pereira beat it by 60,000. But what's even more impressive is this part right here. We see a rare instance of Alexander Pereira smiling and not looking like a totem pole head. Now, here's the thing. What's actually more interesting is that Francis Ngannou's record was broken before Alexander Pereira done it by a fighter called Joe Pfeiffer. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Right, so what's the world record? I think I've got the
He got 113, and Francis had gotten 129.
We're trying to break Ngannou's record right now.
I had already hit 4 times.
170.
I know you're excited about this.
I'm super excited. I've been working very hard on my technique. You did the slap one last time you were here?
Yeah, I just did a slap. It was, I think I got like 53 or 54.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, what I'm expecting with this video is for Brian Shaw to not even try, to have terrible technique and probably get over 100,000. Okay, warming up.
135.
There you go. That's already more than Francis Ngannou's.
What? What?
Yeah.
150.
That's good.
The record's 191.
Yeah, he'll break that.
Okay.
What? 168.
68.
What?
Nice.
208.
Nice. That was good. Real good.
Damn, 208,000. Now the record's being set by Eddie Hall. How much press would this get? See, a lot of this is down to the popularity of the person as well. The reason why Alex Pereira got so much press off his power is because it's Alex Pereira. No one really knows Joe Pfeiffer, so the fact that he punched 170,000 before Alex Pereira punched 190,000, Joe Pfeiffer actually beat Francis Ngannou before Alex Pereira did. But as I say, no one knows him, so the popularity of the person, of the fighter, is what really makes this interesting. If some randomer came off the street and scored 250,000 on this, not really many people would pay attention. Who cares if you can punch 250,000 on a punch machine? What really matters is how you do it in real life. And we might as well show my punch machine attempt. I am a firm believer of not taking a run-up. Non-run-up gang, check in down below in the comments. Let me know if you stand still when you punch it or if you run up. My mate was saying kick it, and I say, no, I'll tear something. $9.23. So that was attempt 1, $9.23. Speed. There we go. Yes, bro. 9.31. I think if you got over 9.25 or 9.30, you got a free hat, but you had to put a £1 deposit in. I didn't put the £1 deposit in, so I didn't get me hat. Anyway, who cares about me? Back to the big guys.
So that's the record. That's the new record. I think I can go higher. Like,
oh, he's going to take the run up now.
Down.
Get it.
What?
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, and yeah. Do you know what? Sometimes I've noticed when I take a run up, I actually score less. I think it's just whatever technique you're used to, that's what you're going to score high with.
I'm done, Brian.
That was good.
World record punch. Come on, Brian.
That was good.
Got to better it.
Right, I'm sorry, Brian Shaw, please don't eat me, but that punch was so pathetic. Yet, he still scored 68,000. Just watch again, like, I mean, he barely tries, he kind of falls into the punch.
Got to better it.
You can see, he punches with no hips or no shoulder rotation. He stands there and goes, and like just falls into the punch, and he's still getting 68,000. Madness.
Yeah, see, it's risky.
It's technique. You've got to, like, you just got to, the best advice I can give you is it's like an explosion.
The light heavyweight champion.
Hey.
Oh, Jamahal Hill. Shout out to Jamahal Hill.
You're gonna break your wrist.
I know. That's why I'm break your wrist. Leave it to it.
Think of your hand, think of your arm, your hand like a spear.
Yeah.
Right? Like think of it like a spear. So you want to put it at the tip of the spear. So if you're gonna hit here, you don't want to bend your spear. Right? You want to hit it right at the edge. Here. So there, step off, bang. That's where you step. That's where you step in and you put it up. I'm not gonna hit it like y'all hit. Don't hit it.
I was just saying to him, it's a big risk.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Yeah, you don't want your body leaning further than the punch does.
Hey, you know, Jamahal Hill's a big dude, isn't he? He's 6'4", and you just see how much Brian Shaw and Eddie Hall dwarf him. It's crazy.
I mean, you want to draw it back, just push it. It's almost like you're thrusting the speed. Sure, makes sense.
I personally like.
Are you going again?
Overhand right for me is probably the most powerful.
Yeah. See, this is the shot that when you were training boxing, that was what you wanted, right?
Yeah, but obviously because I blew my left bicep, so I had to fight southpaw stance.
Sure.
So I was throwing an overhand right from here, whereas preferably I would have been jabbing, bang, but I just couldn't get that stance because my left arm was useless.
A lot of people give Eddie flack for that fight. They give him a lot of crap for it, and everyone just completely forgot about the fact that he tore his bicep a few months prior. If you tore your bicep, you don't realise how much biceps and bicep tendon comes into throwing hooks, throwing straight rights, throwing overhand rights. It's a lot of pressure on the tendon, and you can easily snap a bicep tendon again, especially when you're fresh off surgery. If you throw a punch with full velocity, people don't realise. They give him loads of crap for that fight, but Eddie, if you're watching, I didn't give you crap.
That's good. Yeah, we can tell.
No, that's not working now, because what he's doing there is he's starting off the punch like an overhand right, and then he's turning it into a straight punch. So he's losing all his power. An overhand right, it's pretty much meant to be like a windmill. You're meant to generate the power from here. It's meant to come right round and land over the top. I don't think an overhand right is suitable for this machine, really. You got to do straight punch or a hook. So you can see how awkward Eddie's throwing it. Once again, he's coming up and doing a straight punch at the end. That's why he's not generating as much power. If he adjusts his technique, maybe he'll get more points. Straight right.
Right, so that's Francis. I'm done. Like, my wrist is blown.
Edge is having fun. Now, here's what I would say.
Right, Brian, come on, let's see you punch it. I feel like Brian, you know, he's a big teddy bear and he won't hurt anyone, but that's the problem. I actually think if he would have had that MMA fight, he would have probably lost, because he hasn't got the mindset. Where's your punches, Brian? Let's see some animal killer instinct in you.
So I was training for MMA, but my whole game with MMA was to stand up only as long as I needed to.
Yeah.
To close the gap, right?
Yeah.
So my shots on you were, I would want to be a distance.
Just work me back.
Right? And then as soon as you got close enough, right, then I was coming in just like a sprint step. Boom.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it was never my game plan was never to stand up with you.
That's exactly what I said as well. Brian Shaw is not really going to try and learn much striking outside of just being able to allow him to close the distance. He's too awkward, and when you are a guy of that size, it's a lot harder to learn how to strike and be coordinated and be relaxed than it is to just tell Brian to grab his opponent, get him up against the cage and drag him down. That's going to be what's more natural to Brian. Eddie Hall's got an athletic base. He used to do gymnastics, he used to swim. He's actually quite athletic himself. So he was able to take to boxing and striking in general a lot easier than someone like Brian Shaw could.
So I'll be honest, so when the fight was announced and I knew I could potentially fight Brian, I said to my coach, 100% Brian's just want to get to the ground.
100%.
100%. So I was just like, all we've got to work on is banging as hard as we can and keeping distance. That's what we were working on.
The funny part is you're saying that I called that as Eddie's game plan too, for sure.
Yeah.
Right? Like I knew that he wouldn't want to get on the ground.
Who the fuck want to wrestle you?
No. Yeah.
Like,
so that was
that'd be a stupid mistake.
Like in all fairness, that was exactly it. So, but you see this with the power, like, and I never even trained like this. This is boxing.
Yeah.
Like you can see the power that Eddie possesses with the boxing, and that's ridiculous.
Literally, my hand is broke. Like,
look at that shaking.
It's horrible when you hit these machines. It does actually kill your wrist off. A lot of it's due to just not warming up properly. When you're walking around the arcade, maybe you've had a couple drinks, and then you go, oh, let me put a pound in and throw some punches. You haven't warmed up at all. So all that torque and all that pressure, all that G-force, and then all that impact going onto your wrist after no warm-ups, it messes your wrists up.
In some distant universe, in a different reality, me and you end up in a power slap fight, which is never going to happen, by the way.
Like that.
You go up.
Like that. Can you imagine feeling that? Oh.
Like, forget what this machine says.
No, I know.
So imagine you just going,
Just banging me up.
I would literally just wake up in about 2 weeks' time. Like, no thank you. 2.
That was good. A little bit high.
Yeah.
There you go. They've got pretty much relatively the same power within a slap, but Eddie Hall's got a sore hand, so he's obviously subconsciously not throwing with his full force. So here's the thing, size and strength versus skill. It's always best if you can have a combination of both. People like myself, maybe if you're really skinny, you've got narrow shoulders, you will never look like someone like Eddie Hall or Brian Shaw or Hathor Bjornsson. You simply don't have the genetics to do so. However, if you add muscle onto your frame, regardless of your genetics, you will have more punching power, more strength, better physicality. You'll look better anyway. You'll be more physically imposing. And then if you wrestle, you'll have better isometric and eccentric strength. A lot of sciencey words coming at you right now. Make sure you subscribe to my fitness channel coming in July when I release my app. To mention I've got an app coming, make sure you join the newsletter. First link in the description. Anyway, so that's why it's important to not just do a combat sport and get good at fighting. It's also important to make sure you improve your physicality. It's one of the reasons why I started lifting weights, because when I was a brown belt and the other brown belts who I was training with were fully grown men, and I think at the time I was about 18, 19 years old, something like that, so I was still dead skinny, and I knew all the techniques to do, but I just couldn't do anything. I think I was on top in full guard and he was on the bottom, and he could just hold me down with one hand because he outweighed me by 50 pounds and he was quite muscular as well. And that was the moment when I truly realized, damn, I can know all the technique in the world, but if I haven't got a little bit of strength or a little bit more mass, it's going to be a waste of time, or I'm fighting an uphill battle. So that's why you will hear me say, until the cows come home, make sure you do a martial art as well as lifting weights. You don't have to be an expert professional fighter within martial arts. You don't have to be a professional bodybuilder. You just need to be somewhat proficient and competent within your martial art, and you just need to have a little bit more mass on your frame. And that right there is enough to give you all the confidence you need in life. And that is exactly what my app is going to do for you guys. So yeah, this is a little bit of an advertisement right now. I don't even care. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Although if you complain and like, Shaun, stop advertising, I've got a free physique course down below in the description as well. There's over 50 educational videos in there, 12 free training programs, exercise demonstrations, pretty much everything you ever need anyway. So don't say I don't give yous anything. But yeah, I found this video interesting. Just a little bit of fun talking about strong men and size versus skill. Make sure you like the video for daily fighting videos, MMA, boxing, self-defense, stuff like this. Appreciate yous all, and I'll see yous tomorrow.